Today's focus on the class is stress and anxiety, which I think is underlying our lives at the moment.
Yes.
And this particular practice draws a link between a weak Muladhara, so base chakra. So we said about the core's actually just slightly run up, but they're very, very linked. So weakness in the apana, the lower energy, equates to increased anxiety and stress, which is going to be the focus of today's class. It's going to be very gentle, but it will focus on that. And I also want to focus, because I think there's all an element of stress here, with perhaps all of us. And so from that, I just wanted to focus on that and focus on the breath practice. So one of the reasons that I often start standing up, although it's actually very nice to start in other positions, is that if you're cramped or feeling a bit stiff, to suddenly sit cross-legged on the floor, even with the legs out, and not to stretch properly, can feel uncomfortable. And I remember you particularly flagged that up. So even though sometimes it's nice to start lying down, sometimes you can stretch out lying down.
Personally, I like standing to start.
You like standing to start?
Yeah.
Because it just literally stretches you out, and then you can come down to afterwards. So if anybody needs any adjustment to temperature, or gets too hot, or anything like that, are you all right with the sun? Yeah. Not blinded. So just start to be aware of your posture, lifting the toes, feet are hip width apart. Just press your hands into your thighs, and that will lift you up at the chest. So instantly, that's a mood enhancer. When people are depressed, they tend to come forward. This instantly is uplifting for the mood. And there's a difference between depression and anxiety. But for the moment, let's just look at that. Lift and roll the shoulders, and that is setting the body weight and the shoulders completely over, aligning properly. And just slightly open the palms upwards. And we're in Tadasana, standing on the mountain pose, Samastiti, which is like equal weight, balance. It's called different names. And then just relax the hands. And from here, as you breathe in, turn the head to the left. And breathing out, you can slightly dip the chin or just turn straight to look slightly to the right. Not too far, breathing in, turning the head slightly to the left. And breathing out, turn the head slightly to the right. And just very gently carry on in your own breath pattern. So not only is this freeing the neck off, the neck very closely links to the shoulders, but here really we're on the neck, but it's also working on the energy, the Udana energy, that links the body with the mind, the stress, the upward energy. Neck links body with the mind, emotionally as well. And often what we say isn't what we actually mean. And there can be a tenseness around the neck, back of the head area. And then of course also this connects to the thyroid and parathyroid glands. So it's rebalancing our metabolism. But also, if you're very stressed out, your adrenals get exhausted, and there's a link between exhausted adrenals above the kidneys and the thyroid gland. So this is some way to balance that. And then come back to the centre. We're also encouraging the balance of the left and the right brain hemispheres of the brain. If you don't cook too quickly, you get dizzy, but just very, very gently. It's just beginning to encourage it's almost balancing the neural pathways. So, such a simple exercise has so many benefits. Then, to save your shoulders, there's so many ways to do things. Just have your hands against your thighs. Feel that you're between two panes of glass, and just slide down to the left. Your chin comes to the chest. Now, you're not going to go very far here. Lift the chest as you slide down, lift the chest upwards. And then optionally, you can place your right hand on the waist, opening out the right side of the right lung. Chin to chest, looking forward or up, but just be comfortable. And then to come up, press the feet down, really use your left hand to support you as you slide to upright. Lift and roll the shoulders, just setting the pose. And as we're going to be going to the right side, so really engage your hands to support you. Feel you're between those two panes of glass again, chin to chest. Just slide down to the right, almost lifting your chest up. You're not going to go very far. And when you feel that you've stretched enough, there's an option, it is an option, to place the left hand on the waist, opening out the left shoulder. This exercise looks less, but actually you're possibly stretching out more than you normally do. I'm interested in the feedback, and then tummy in, press the feet down and come up. Lift and roll the shoulders. And just circle the wrists one way. And then the other way. Getting energy into the hands and the fingers, especially with any arthritic aspect or anything at all, just shake your hands out. Shaking your arms. And if you're really concerned about fingers, really want to focus on them, then like anything, arthritis and toxins and anything else, everything accumulates on the joints. So you can just take, say, your right hand and just very gently pull your left thumb, second finger, third, fourth, and then little finger. It just creates a subtle anti-stagnation at the joint level, and then just shake the hand out. And then of course you can reverse it and go to the other side, so just pulling. And then just shaking. And then just looking at the shoulders again. So we often hug in, and we can hug in again, or if you don't want to hug in, just take the right arm, right elbow, and just hold it with the left hand. And just go over the side like that, just opening out here. If you like to hug yourself, take the other arm, just hug yourself, and come forward, chin to chest. Slightly sway from side to side. And then just beginning to lift the head up. And either come, so you're holding the left elbow, or just hug. So you'll feel this in the upper back, opening between the shoulders. Just coming up. And then in the same way we bounce our legs and rub our legs, we can rub our arms. I'd be interested to know how that feels for you. You can just, because of your nerves.
Yeah, no, it's good, it's fine.
On your arms.
Yeah, the nerve pain's better now, it's just the muscular and tendons.
So just almost self-care. And then just have your feet slightly wider than hip width apart and just gently sway from side to side. And then just start to slowly swaying down. And just come to step the right foot slightly out and do left foot slightly back and do nothing more than just slightly rock forwards and backwards, and you can bring your hands in, hands back. There's no particular focus here. It's just that in doing this you might find that you're really engaging both feet into the ground, because one at a time. Front foot as you come forward, back foot as you come back. You might want to just lift the leg off or just stick to both feet grounded into the earth. So again, it's helpful for balance. It's also helpful to just starting to get the circulation moving in your feet. And then just come to stillness. Come to lift have your feet comfortably apart, and maybe slightly apart. Lift your right heel, keep your toes on the ground, and just circle your knee in one direction. And you'll find that you're massaging the front of underneath your toes. So I don't know what readings are we, number readings are we?
Yeah,
What's that?
number readings, yeah.
So and then the
It
other
also pushes into your toes, which is the sinus and everything, so it's
It's a good one.
it stretches it all out as well. It's good.
sinuses, thank you for that, because I
Right.
feel I need, and it's something you can do standing or sitting,
Yes. Yes.
moving your ankle and just giving flexibility again. And a subtle balance, but not really, but anyway, just releasing back down again. And of course we can come to the other side. So again, have your feet comfortably apart, lift the left heel and just circle your ankle to freestyle, however that works for you. And then just the other way. You can, of course, shake your foot out, but that requires a balance, so it's optional, and you might want to hold on to the shake one foot out. And the other one, which I'm very impressed with, is it?
Oh, this is bad.
Yeah, mine's so from that, just lift and roll your shoulders. And we so often tap here, but this time just make a light fist with your right hand. You can have your thumb in or out. And then the knuckles just rub in here. Up, just that soft area there. You've got two acupressure points, but the one where the shoulder joins, following the line of the shoulder, the collarbone, clavicle up to there, is, I believe, the K27, which is kidneys, which is reflecting your whole body's vitality and energy. Might feel stiff or sore underneath here, and you could make the circle bigger.
It's just under the shoulder blade.
It's where the collarbone goes up to here,
Yeah.
and literally where it just goes to the shoulder, that is,
Yeah.
it's a sore point for me. I can really feel it's. You can use your fingers.
Slight dip.
Dip.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh
Slight
yes,
dip.
I got my fingers. Yes.
Perhaps use your fingers then. If that
Yeah, I got. Yes, I can pull that now.
So that's a really key whole body energy point. And you'll find this point used a lot, both in energy medicine And if you remember EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping is one major point. And of course, then just use your other hand to go to the other side. I'm definitely slightly sore there. So, and then just dropping that once you've massaged. And there was a request for the core, so this will be one of them. Very simple. Legs hip width apart, hands on the waist. You bend your knees as little or as much as you would like. So the more you bend your knees, the more you'll feel your core engaging. And look down. That is enough probably, but if you really want to, I was thinking of you how to stretch it. Tummy in, perineum engages, arms up, look at the floor, and then if you're able to look up, that really does get into your core. And then drop your hands and slide up. The hands up the chair pose is helpful, but can do your back in if you're not really engaging the core. So anytime you bend your knees, you're engaging the core. You can increase that by engaging the perineum slightly up and in. Tummy, the lower abdominal muscles go towards the back. To either stay here or optionally lift up and look up. Lifting the hands quite high. As you've lifted them, you've come up. But that's very good to even do that and then just come up, lifting the shoulders, and then we're going to come down to seated with the legs out in front of us. And lift the flesh out from under the bottom. Hands just alongside, so yogically the fingers pointing ahead in Dandasana, but therapy-wise just have your hands outward. And just bounce your legs and come to doing the same here, just rubbing, patting, doing whatever you want. Boost the circulation into the legs. And then just very gently, hands down again, toes up and toes away, lean back slightly, up and away a couple of times. And then just circle the ankles in one direction, and then circle the ankles in the opposite direction. And then feet from side to side, that gets into the ankles as well. And somebody doesn't like this, so this is optional, or just keep side to side. If you just bang your big toes together, it sets up a vibration. So you wouldn't like it, somebody did.
It's only my bunion, but that's all right, I can live with it.
Just sets up a vibration, which is the antithesis of stagnation, which is helpful for arthritis.
Great. Okay.
This is a slight movement and then just...
This doesn't hurt. I find it doesn't hurt.
But it doesn't do anything for you.
Yes, I don't. I've done this very often, but yeah, it seems to think of circulating feet. My circulation is poorish.
So you can also just curl your feet over and stretch them out, but be warning your feet that you don't get cramp. That's the slight issue there. And then before we come to, you can sit with your legs up, or you can sit cross-legged. Just come to exercise your eyes for a moment. That just sets the centre of your clock. Once you've got it in your eye, then drop your hands. And look, your head still, look with your eyes up to your 12 o'clock. And then come through the centre of your clock and look to your 6 o'clock. Back to the centre and look to 3. Your head stays still. Up to the centre and look to 9. Come to the centre and just blink. Go up to 12 o'clock again, and then smoothly, if you can, go clockwise around the clock. And notice the way your eyes jump. So typically mine sort of jump around 20 past, 25 past, I've jumped. And they jump again sort of 25 to 22. When you're at the top, go anti-clockwise. The eye is a muscle like anything else, and it's affected by exercise or lack of it and diet. And excess toxins, not arthritis, but when people get older and they're taking medication in particular, slightly freaks me because that's where you get cataracts, and it is apparently from diet, and then you can just rinse your eyes with rose water or things like medical grade castor oil or olive oil. You can just wiping it just to get any of the cloudy before they start forming. It is contrary to what NHS consultants say. It is controllable, but that's something that just not lots of sweet horrible things in the diet. So, and then just rub your hands together. And when they're warm, you've got lots of energy points or nadis in the hands, so you're boosting up your electrical energy. And then when they're nice and warm, just place your hands over your closed eyes, and then gently open your eyes into the darkness of the hands. And then just come back up to the palms, very soothing. And then hands onto the legs, find if you put your legs out to have them sitting up, breathing out, rounding down. So it's a form of seated cat-cow, sitting up. You're beginning to warm through the spine. Make the next one the last one. Come back to neutral. And then we're going to come to lying down on the mat. And have the knees bent, feet are hip width apart. Palms up, down on the floor. And just start by swaying the knees from side to side. Your hips can lift slightly, one hip side can lift, then the other. And this is a mind game. So as you go to the right, let your right knee lead and your left knee follows. Come back to the centre, leading with the left leg, and the right follows. So the knee leads in the direction in which you're going. It should be fairly easy. And now you're going to switch focus, and the back leg leads. So if you're going to the right, it's the left knee that guides the action. I hope you're following, working out what I'm saying. And then if you're going to the left, the right knee initiates and the left knee follows. It's like a switching of mind focus. If you get it, there's no right or wrong. It's just simply asking the mind to engage in a way that it doesn't normally engage. Then just come back to the centre. We come to another core focus here. So knees comfortably apart, feet comfortably hip width apart, just adjust at any point. I'm very mindful of stiff shoulders, so with elbows bent, just raise the elbows slightly and clasp your hands onto your head. Your elbows can be in to stop them opening out. If you haven't got a problem with your shoulders, then open your elbows out and like a butterfly wing, but that might be too much if you've got stiff shoulders. And what we're going to do is breathe out, flatten the back to the ground and lift slightly. Your elbows might come together. Your back stays on the ground as far as you can. You're lifting your shoulders and you'll be engaging your core. Your chin comes to your chest, your perineum engages up. And when you've had enough, as you breathe out, just relax back on the ground. And the elbows can stay high, or if you're not stiff, just open them out like butterflies. And just take a moment or two to recover. And then again, as you next breathe out, really flatten the back, engage the core, tummy towards the spine, perineum up, lifting up. If your tummy starts to round out and dome, then you've gone too far. And then when you're ready, just release back again. And relax. So the next one, we're going to, as we come up, the elbows slightly come together, go slightly to the left. So as you breathe out, flatten the back to the ground, the perineum engages slightly, lifting up. And then your head and elbows slightly go over to the left. Your back needs to kind of stay in contact with the ground. And then just release back. Going very slowly. So they're kind of crunches, but very controlled. Take an in and an out breath. And then flatten the back again as you lift up. And this time, of course, we're going to go over to the right. You might lift your left shoulder up a little bit. You can go as far over to the right as you want to. And then just relax back. And slide the hands out from underneath you and place the palms down on the floor, palms down. And just ease out the lower back by a couple of pelvic tilts. So flatten the back to the ground. And then roll the tailbone away from you towards the floor so that there's a little gap that appears under the lower back. I'll just do that a couple of times. And again, there's an option here if you want to strengthen your back. And again, just, it is optional. Hold the mat with both hands, your thumbs on top, your fingers underneath, and then pull the mat away from you towards your feet. Flatten the back to the ground and start to lift up the back from the ground. So your perineum engages, your lower back comes towards your spine, and you're lifting up your bottom. Your hands are pulling towards your feet, your chin goes to your chest. You might lift a little bit or not. And then as you start to breathe out, your back will very gently start to lower, vertebra by vertebra, down to the ground. And when your back is on the ground, you can release your hold on the mat and just do another couple of pelvic tilts. There's an option to do that again. You don't have to hold the mat, you can just place your hands, palms down on the floor if you prefer. I feel there's more grip if you hold the mat, but it's all optional. So pressing your hands however you want to lift your back, chin goes to chest. If you get up high enough, you can just tuck your shoulders underneath your back, but you actually might not want to go as high as that. If you are up as high as that, you'll feel that someone's holding your knees, so that they're not swaying out, and then when you're ready, just come back down to the ground. So it's like core and back strengthener, but you choose how much you want to go up. And then, of course, to counteract that, tug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. And just very gently rock from side to side. Come to hug the knees into the chest. And as you breathe in, it's optional on the arm. Raise the left leg to the ceiling Really bend the left elbow and just raise the left arm. You can bend at the elbow a little bit or a lot, or stretch your left arm out behind you. Just go how far you want to. And then when you breathe out, start the breath out, and then your arm and leg will follow to hug the left knee back into the chest again. And just rock from side to side. And then to the right, as you breathe in, your right leg goes up and extend your right heel, and your right elbow can lift a tiny bit, a lot, however much you're able to lift it. Bend to the elbow. Once it's up, you can then extend out your arm, option if you want to. And then breathing out, just very, very gently hug your right knee back into your chest. And when it's hugged in, just very, very gently rock from side to side. And then come to do each side in your own time. So when you're ready, your left arm and leg only going up as far as works for you. Take a recovery breath in between, maybe rock from side to side before you come to the other right side. And then holding both knees, treat both knees as one as you hug them into you. And just circle both knees in the same direction. And you'll find this really massages around the base of your spine and almost your upper, your sacral area. And you can make your circle small, or you can make your circle bigger. And then just gently circle both knees in the opposite direction. And then supporting the legs underneath, place the feet on the floor. Hug the left knee into the chest and open the left knee to the left and just place the left ankle on top of the right leg. Palms can rest on your abdomen or palms down on the floor. And just enjoy rocking both knees from side to side and your hip will lift. You can rock so much that your knee will go almost down to the floor and your hip will lift right off. And if you do that, then steady for an in and out breath. Or you might prefer to keep on rocking from side to side. When you come up, you engage your perineum inwards and upwards, which is part of the core stability. Coming to the other side. As I said, you can go from side to side. So in yoga, you're supposed to engage your tummy, your lower abdominal muscles in towards the spine, and perineum engages about 10 to 20% of your capacity throughout the practice. I don't think any of us ever do that, but that's what it's supposed to be. And then just very gently hug the left knee into the chest, and just a couple of hugging into the chest, still hug the left knee, let it travel to arm's length as you breathe in. Hug the knee into the chest as you breathe out. So this is all working on the lower chakras, the lower energy points, the Apana energy and the Muladhara chakra, and the next one up, sacral chakra. And just to come back to the aspect that weak energy at that chakra level, which also translates as needing, the core needs to be upped a bit. translates to excess anxiety and stress. So this is all very helpful to, as a foundation pose, to level that out. And then just beginning to let the left foot come back down to the earth. Palms down, just sway the knees from side to side. And then hug the right knee into the chest. Just enjoy the hugging in. And then just place the right ankle on top of the right, the left leg. Palms either down or on the abdomen. Just sway the knees from side to side. You can linger. You can sway a little bit, or just drop almost down to the earth. The muscle that you will feel in the outer right hip is your piriformis muscle, which is very implicated in lower back issues. Remember that as you bring your knees upright to engage your tummy back toward the spine a little bit, engaging your core. And perineum just engages up a little bit. And then just bring yourself back to centre and hug your right knee into the chest. And then again, just hug the right knee in, breathing in, let it drift to arm's length. Hug the right knee in, and let it drift to arm's length. Just carry on in your own breath pattern. So I mentioned that depression is up, you lift up from the chest, but anxiety is slightly different, and stress, it's just ongoing, like reactions to things. It's not a long-term depression. I mean, depression would be cold winter days and grey and feeling quite miserable about it, whereas stress would be a car in a traffic jam and you're late, and that's stressed you for the moment. Life stresses and strains. So uplifting is for depression at the chest, but stresses and strains very much connects into coming slightly forward, chin to chest, activating the vagus nerve. And even though we're lying on our backs, we're mimicking the child's pose, which is coming forward, chin slightly down. So this is actually quite a calm, relaxing pose for the nervous system, as well as the lower back. And then just supporting the legs, you place the right foot down. Your feet are sort of together, and we're just going to look at the inner groin. So this is for men and for women. The lower groin connects into the lower lymphatic system. So only open your knee as far as you feel comfortable, but imagine you're a clown and hands and palms down on the mat. Just relax to open your right leg, right knee out to the right, only as little or as much as you would like. Just stay here for an in and an out breath. And next time, just bring the right knee back to upright. Just feel you can adjust your feet if you need to. And then just relax your left knee out to the left. It can be a little bit, it can be a lot. Depends on how tight the inner groin is. Stay here for an in and an out breath. when you're ready, press your hands onto the ground to support you, to bring the left knee upwards. If you were doing this at home, you could lie or sit and have lots of cushions under your thighs. Come to the right side again, so that you're not necessarily opening out very wide, and in fact you could stay static, just opening one side at a time, which is a softer movement on both legs. Very helpful for energy flow in that pelvic area, both for men and for women. And then bring the right knee up, and just one more time to the left side. Very good for women to get blood flow into the pelvic area. It comes back to that lower chakra, Muladhara chakra area, into the whole of the next chakra up, sacral chakra. And then just hug one knee and the other knee into the chest. Hug both knees into the chest, both knees just drift away. And just do that a couple of times. So again, it's looking at the lower energy, the lower chakras, calming everything down, which is very helpful for anxiety and stress. And by very definition, if you're calming down anxiety and stress and calming your nervous system down, your breath is slowing down, your muscles are relaxing, you're getting a greater exchange of oxygen into the blood and toxins out of the blood. And from that, your organs are operating a little bit better or more optimally because they're getting more blood through. But as far as releasing toxins out of your system and thinking of the arthritis factor, you're just slowing everything down. So it's helpful all the way around to sort of slow your nervous system down. And a further perspective on mindfulness for that, to help that, is to think of one thing in the day that you're thankful for or grateful for. It can be the fact that it's a sunny day, or that something really simple, just to kind of change the perspective from stress and worry about things to one thing that can make you think, oh, well, that's. You're supposed to keep, for mindfulness, a gratefulness calendar, which possibly is a bit much, but it is a thought for the day that just thinks, oh, actually I've done something, or something's been quite nice today. And then just supporting the legs as you bring the feet back down to the ground. And we're going to come to a seated position. So just roll to the side, come to seated however you want. So classically, you would roll to the right away from your heart. You would stay here to support yourself. You would extend your right arm a little bit. And then you would just come up to a seated position. And come to be a comfortable position. And I just wanted to read you a tiny bit of mindfulness, and we'll do a very quick breathwork practice. So it's a reminder about what mindfulness is. It's living in the moment. It has a sense of purpose to enable you to make choices and act with awareness. So if you focus on what you're doing rather than doing it automatic, if you actually focus on putting the dishes away, or into the dishwasher, or whatever you're doing, you're fully engaged on that activity, and the stress that you were thinking about is supposed to recede. It will come back, but you've broken the stress connection, so you just reconnect with different awareness. So paying attention is mindfulness is experiential. It's focused on the present moment, so it's the same thing, and it's non-judgmental. So it allows you to see things as they actually are in the present moment without an automatic judgment, which is helpful or not helpful. And for that, we're going to do a really simple breath work. So being comfortable, just take your right hand, just block your right nostril. You can let your elbow drop, you don't have to have it up. I know up is good, but you can just be relaxed. And only breathe in and out for a few breaths through your left nostril. So only your left side exists. If you're bunged up or you've got, you're snuffling a little bit, just release the right thumb slightly so that you are restricting the breath on the right side rather than totally blocking it. And as you breathe in, notice where the breath goes. Does it go, because each part of the nostril relates to a different part of the body in Ayurveda, so does it go right up to the centre? Does it go to the side? The breath is meant to be seamless and smooth. And I believe in one of the warrior trainings, might be Japanese, they put a feather underneath the breath for the warriors. But the breath doesn't disturb the feather, it's utterly smooth. Don't panic if it's not smooth, they're not warriors, but it's just an indication. And as the breath comes in, it passes at the back of the nostrils, past some fairly key points that tie into the energy meridians in Chinese medicine, but in Ayurveda, the back of the nostrils are energy points that connect into all the body organs. And those points are supposed to be very important, so we're just it's also where your respiratory function, so just keeping everything here clear is helpful for your respiratory health. It's where germs and bugs incubate. And then just very, very gently release the right hand and notice a few breaths through both nostrils. How clear you feel. I should also mention that at any point in the day, one side of us is more dominant than the other. So that changes every few minutes or so. So you'll find one side might be easier to breathe in than the other. And then being non-yogic, I don't mind which hand. You can use your right hand again, ring finger, or if you prefer to use your left hand, very non-yogically and block your left nostril, that's fine. And just only now breathe through your right nostril, so only the right side exists. When you've established a rhythm, you can try very gently lifting the corners of your mouth in a subtle smile, and notice how that alters the breath to the back of the head. Supposed to encourage the breath and energy to go almost into the head, it doesn't block it off. You don't have to have a big grin, but just a subtle lift of the corners of the mouth will alter the breath in the body or in the head. A reminder that the left lung is smaller than the right lung because of the heart. So that we think the lungs are the same, but they're not. Breathing one nostril at a time tends to slow the breathing down, which is calming for the mind and the body. You can count the breath, but today we're just going to freestyle, just see how calming that is. And then when you're ready, just drop your hand away from the left nostril. And just breathe through both nostrils and see if that feels any different. If you've got to?
Feels clearer for me. Breathing through both nostrils. Less noisy, less effort.
It also works on the energy points, they call them the nadis, but it's supposed to balance the left and the right sides of the brain. So that is a beginner's exercise to, or warm up to Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breathing. You breathe in through one and out through the other, but they'll, in the training, they'll keep you on one side and the other like that for quite some months to get the benefits of it. And it's supposed to tie into the electrical impulses in the brain and balance it. It's very calming for anybody. It's a universal breath. So just bring the hands to the heart and just a couple of breaths as you breathe in, just opening fingers slightly out, breathing out. Hands back to the chest, chin to chest. In your own breath pattern, just opening out. And then hold your breath. Chin to chest. And then imagine at your heart or in your hands that you put into your heart. Recall, bring someone to mind or several people. And just keep them in your heart space or in your hands, heart space. And just wish them well, wish them whatever, health, happiness, healing, peace, calm, whatever you want to wish them. And then let that thought go. And then just very gently bring the hands to the forehead, kind thoughts. Bring the hands to the lips, kind words. And then bring